My boyfriend Mark had gotten his first love pregnant before they were married. To keep her reputation clean, he asked me to pretend to be his fiancée. He would marry her first so the baby would have a legal father. He even went to a fancy dinner with her and told the news people that the baby was his. Everyone we knew made fun of me. Later on, Mark came back to me. I gently touched my stomach. My baby wouldn't need a father just for paperwork. Mark's face got dark and he stared hard at my belly, his eyes looking red. "Whose?" he asked. I just smiled calmly and said, "My first love." "Ha," he said, "everyone has a first love." We had been together for 3 years. We were about to get engaged when his first love showed up again. Their love story was known for being really intense back in the day. He had settled down for her, stopped getting into fights, and stayed away from bad places. But they didn't end up together. It was because Mark's mom didn't like Sarah's family. She said they were too poor, her dad was a drug addict, and her mom had a bad reputation with other men. They were forced to break up. Mark even got into a car accident trying to catch Sarah before she got on a plane. When he called her, she coldly told him it was over. After that, his mom set him up on lots of blind dates, but he broke up with all of them in less than a month, which made him seem like a player. Then he met me, and we hadn't broken up for 3 years. He would even fight people if they so much as scratched my eyebrow, beating them until they were bloody. I was really touched by that. I hugged him and told him to stop, warning him he could get into serious trouble and get a bad name. His hands shook as he touched my injury. I told him it would be okay. I thought he really felt something for me. I thought I was the one who could help him forget his past. Then I saw Sarah, and I realized it was because I had eyes like hers, even a red mole at the end of my eyebrow just like hers. No wonder he kissed me so deeply, would kiss the end of my eyebrow with such passion, and would call me Lisa with such feeling. Lisa, Sarah, he probably never even said my real name. My name is Lisa. It turned out I was just a replacement. I really thought too highly of myself. I met Sarah again when Mark took me to a bar for his birthday. Sarah was a server in the VIP area. The moment she saw him with me, she turned pale and looked at me with anger and bitterness. Mark just ignored her and took me to the couch in the VIP area. His loud friends immediately started making fun of her. "Isn't that Sarah, the goody two-shoes? How come you're serving drinks dressed like that? If you hadn't left Mark back then, you'd be living the good life now." Sarah bit her lip and didn't say anything, her eyes getting red with anger, her knuckles turning white as she held onto a bottle. Mark's face was cold, looking calm as he watched her being humiliated. But after 2 years with him, I knew his habits. When he was angry, he would play with a lighter to hide it. And that's exactly what he was doing. He wasn't calm at all. While she was pouring wine, one of his friends blocked the glass. "You gotta kneel to pour the wine if you want to show you're really sorry." Tears finally ran down her face. She looked straight at him. "Do you really hate me this much?" I wanted to tell them to stop. She was just doing her job, not there to take their insults. Mark squeezed my waist so hard it almost broke. The pain made me gasp, but I couldn't make a sound. Just as Sarah was about to kneel, she suddenly fell down. The wine bottle broke on the floor, and the red wine stained her white dress like blood. Mark couldn't hold back anymore. He pushed me aside and rushed to her, quickly calling her name. When she didn't answer, he turned and glared at the guy who had insulted Sarah. "If anything happens to her, you can forget about doing business in this city." He stormed out without even looking back, not even glancing at me. I fell to the floor, and a piece of broken glass cut my palm. Blood mixed with the wine. How disgusting. The alcohol burned my wound, making the pain really bad. The people in the VIP area looked at me and laughed quietly. I guess no man can resist his first love, especially if it's her. When I got up to leave, I only saw the back of his car driving away. I went to the hospital alone and got my wound bandaged. I asked a nurse to take me to see Mark. His family had invited us over that night to talk about our engagement. I stood at the door and watched Mark with Sarah in the hospital room. He looked down at her, his eyes full of different feelings. Love mixed with hate. He had never looked at me with that much intensity. Sarah woke up in the bed, and when he was about to leave, she grabbed his waist. Her face pressed against his back. She choked and asked him not to go. He told her to let go but didn't move at all. He coldly said, "You were the one who wanted to break up back then." "Yes, I wanted to break up," she said. "Your mom took videos of my mom with other men and made me break up with you. If I didn't, she'd show everyone the videos. What could I do? Tell me." She let go of his waist and stood by the window. Seeing this, his hands started to shake. He said, "Come here first." She gave a sad laugh. "Mark, I want to die. Living is too painful for me. I was forced to leave. I went abroad with no support, was attacked, and got pregnant. I wanted an abortion, but the law there didn't allow it. By the time I came back, it was too late. I never meant to see you again. I just wanted a job to raise my child. But why did you let them make fun of me like that? If I die, will you forgive me, Mark? I haven't forgotten you for even one day all these years." He couldn't hold back anymore, rushing over to hug and kiss her. Then, he held her forehead to his and said, "You really got me. You've made me suffer for so many years. This time, I won't let you leave." "What about the girl next to you?" she asked. When she said that, she looked over at me standing outside. Her eyes were full of confidence until she heard him say, "It's just an engagement arranged by our families. We can call it off when the time is right." She smiled at me in a satisfied way and hugged his waist tightly. "Mark, you really don't mind me, do you? As long as you don't leave me without saying goodbye again, I'll marry you so your child can have a name. No one will dare to talk badly about you." Hearing this, I quietly turned and left. He truly loved her so much that he was even willing to take the blame. From that day on, Mark visited the hospital often. The gossip magazines took pictures of him and published them with the headline, "Rich businessman carefully looks after pregnant girlfriend." Her baby bump was showing, which suggested good news was coming. Usually, any gossip about him would be dealt with quickly. But this time, it just kept going. It seemed like Mark had accepted it. People around me started asking if Sarah was really pregnant. I could only tell them not to believe the nonsense in the magazines. Then came the charity auction night. I went and I saw Mark bring Sarah with him. Everything was out in the open. All the lights were on them. When the reporters held out their microphones to Mark and asked, "We heard you're getting engaged soon and you've been visiting the women's hospital a lot. Is there good news?" More microphones were pointed at Sarah, who shyly leaned into his arms. Mark smiled and pulled her closer. "Ask me anything, just don't bother my fiancé. The baby is still small and we didn't want to announce it this early." This confirmed that she was going to be Mrs. Mark and the mother of his child. People around me were making fun of me. They all knew I was his girlfriend. I was supposed to get engaged to Mark. Now he publicly said he was with another woman. Where did that leave me? At that moment, a reporter asked a sharp question. "We heard your current girlfriend is supposed to be another rich woman, Lisa. Who is this lady? Isn't she the other woman? Are you cheating?" Some reporters then came over to me, holding microphones in my face. "Lisa, you're here too. Please say something." Mark finally looked my way, and his eyes froze when he saw me. He felt guilty for a second, but it quickly turned into a stern warning, telling me to play along and not to tell the media about us. He didn't want his first love to be criticized. I said, "No comment," lifted my dress, and walked into the event. Once inside, whatever I looked interested in, Sarah would act interested too. And Mark, wanting to show he liked her more, would bid higher prices to get everything I seemed to want, which made me lose interest and go to the bathroom. Sarah followed me and blocked my way when I came out, saying in a snobby voice, "Miss Lisa, it's time for you to back off. You see how much Mark cares about me. He will marry me, so stop bothering him." I looked at her with a cold expression. "If you know we haven't broken off our engagement, you should know your place. I haven't bothered you. You should be thankful. How dare you come here asking me to break up? Have Mark say it himself?" I didn't care about the engagement, but that didn't mean she could treat me like I was nothing. She grabbed my hand harder, looking even more frantic. "Are you trying to hold on to Mark? I won't let you. He's mine and mine only." As she squeezed my hand painfully, I pushed her away. She fell to the ground, holding her stomach and crying loudly. Mark, it hurts so much. She said, I'm not good enough for you. She won't break up, and she pushed me. Will the baby be okay? Her cries got the attention of many people. Mark rushed over, pushing me away without any care. My back hit the sink, and a sharp pain made my face turn pale. I slid to the ground. He picked up Sarah and looked down at me. Lisa, you're heartless. I can't believe you did this. If anything happens to her, I won't forgive you. He took her away without any kindness, leaving me surrounded by people making fun of me. This woman is terrible, pushing a pregnant woman. Does she want to kill them both? No wonder Mark chose a woman from a poor background over her. She looks arrogant, but she's doing this for a man. Desperate women will do anything. These dirty tricks always work. Outside the bathroom was a spot where the cameras couldn't see. I had no way to defend myself. Someone helped me up, and I heard a familiar voice. His tone was cold and sarcastic. Left me for a man like that? All other sounds faded away. I looked up and saw a face I had dreamed of many times. My first love, David. Why did you come back? He sounded like he was making fun of himself. Now you don't have the right to kick me out of this city. 5 years ago, I met David at the club. David was a waiter there. He looked clean and thin and caught my eye. A gross older man wanted to pay him a lot of money each month. David's face turned red with shame and anger, his eyes full of fury. But his fists, though clenched, didn't move. He was holding back his anger. He refused, but the rich jerk didn't take no for an answer. I saw him being held down on a table, hearing the man say dirty things. I'm doing you a favor. How dare you act like you're better than me? I smashed an ashtray on that guy's head. Smiling brightly, I pointed at David. Dare to touch my man? Back then, my family had a lot of power in this city, untouchable. As the favorite child in the family, I was even more untouchable. The man apologized a lot and crawled out of the room. David said I saved him and wanted to pay me back. I looked into his family situation. He was a student with nothing, his parents were divorced, he lived with his sick mother, and he was working to make ends meet. That's why he had been holding back. I made him my driver. Later, I noticed him secretly watching me. His gaze was so intense, so bright, really captivating, and it touched my heart. But whenever I looked back, he would look away. Once, when someone tried to kidnap me, he fought hard to save me. His hands were broken from taking hits for me. I couldn't hide my love anymore. If he wouldn't make the first move, I would. I cornered him and raised an eyebrow, asking, "Do you have a crush on me?" I saw his ears turn red, and the blush spread to his face. His usually calm face looked flustered. Finally, he lowered his head and softly said, "I don't dare." I frowned, unhappy, and made him look me in the eye. Is it that you don't dare or that you don't want to? He pressed his lips tightly, silently looking at me for a long time. Finally, he admitted he loved me, but felt like he wasn't good enough for me. I told him love had nothing to do with status. If he accepted my feelings, he should kiss me. He kissed me passionately, and we became a couple. After 2 years, I broke up with him. My words were like knives cutting deep. I told him he was just my driver, the lowest of the low, never good enough to be with me. I was just playing around, but he took it seriously. How much is true love worth? Did he really think he could marry me? I was the most popular girl in the city, with lots of guys wanting to be with me all over the world. Who did he think he was? I told him to get lost and never let me see him again. His eyes showed confusion, pain, and hurt as he held me tightly, his eyes red, asking, "Didn't you say class doesn't matter? Why are you saying this now?" I patted his face, sneering. "You believed those sweet nothings? It was just a rich person's game. Now I'm done. Don't hold on to me." He fell to his knees, feeling ashamed, begging, "If it's just about money, I'm young. I'll work hard and have a chance. Please don't leave me." The people I was with beat him up, throwing a card with a lot of money at him as a way to break up, warning him not to bother me again. I didn't want to see him in this city anymore. As he chased after me, he fell down the stairs and his head was bleeding. I got into my car and left without looking back. David took me to the hospital. After checking me out, the doctor said luckily it was just a soft tissue injury. The doctor gave me medicine and told us not to be so rough. If something got broken or I had internal injuries, it would be bad. At first, I didn't understand until I saw David's ears turn red. I realized what the doctor was hinting at. Blushing, I quickly explained, "We're not like that. I hit the sink during an argument." David's expression turned dark and he looked away. It seemed like 3 years had changed him. He used to never get mad at me. I was about to get my medicine when David brought it to me. "The room is mostly empty. With your condition, it's better to stay overnight." I thanked him and took the medicine. I had so much to ask, like why he had become successful and to explain why I had ended things, but I couldn't find the words. His clothes were expensive, his watch was a limited edition, and everything he wore looked custom made. He had done really well for himself. Finally, I said, "How much was the hospital bill? I'll pay you back." His face darkened with anger. "No need, miss. I owe you a lot of money. This is nothing," he sneered, shoving the medicine into my hands before leaving. Last night, I had pushed Sarah, and it was all over the news. Rich girl Lisa fights over businessman Mark, almost causes tragedy. It wasn't just in the newspapers, but also on many websites, with videos of Sarah falling. The internet was full of anger towards me. They said, "This woman is evil, breaking up a first love. Doesn't she believe in bad luck or being unable to have children?" Some people think money lets them do anything. Feel sorry for the first love. No money means you deserve to be treated badly. A home wrecker being so arrogant, attacking the rightful partner's child. She'll do anything to steal a man. Disgusting. She hurt her on purpose. Don't let her get away with it. My private social media was found, and it was flooded with hate messages, fake pictures, curses wishing bad things on my family, and endless insults calling me a homewrecker. By the afternoon, the story started to change. Someone questioned, "The video only shows Sarah falling at the end. How does that prove Lisa pushed her? They're calling her a homewrecker, but Sarah was overseas when Lisa and Mark got together. Who was really cheating?" These doubts made more people think again. Mark posted on his social media, "From the beginning to the end, I only loved Sarah." This made me the target again. They said if Mark said so, he never dated Lisa. Some people are just clowns, thinking a few questions can change public opinion. Boycott everything from her family's companies. Sarah, wearing her hospital gown, walked into my room with a smug look. Seeing her like that, remembering how I had felt sorry for her being bullied, I felt like a fool. The ones who act pitiful deserve what happens to them. You're terrible, falsely accusing me, willing to hurt your unborn child. That little brat shouldn't live. Using him was worth it to get rid of you. Too bad he's still alive. If you know what's good for you, break off your engagement quickly, otherwise public opinion will destroy you. I raised my hand and slapped her twice. She was shocked for a moment, and when she tried to hit me back, I said to her, "Mark is right behind you. Do you really want to hit back and stop acting pitiful?" She immediately changed her expression and turned around, only to see no one behind her. She looked furious. "You lied to me." This was the first time I really understood what it meant for someone's face to change faster than flipping a book. Angrily, she tried to slap me back. I grabbed her hand. "You can't change the truth so easily, Sarah. One day, public opinion will turn against you." "Lisa, it looks like you still haven't learned to control yourself." This time, Mark actually showed up. In one move, he protected Sarah behind him. She said in a pitiful voice that she only came to see if I was okay. He said she was too kind, which was why she kept getting treated badly. I pulled my hand away and leaned against the hospital bed, looking at him with a cold smile. "Take your first love and get out." For the first time, my attitude towards Mark was so firm that he was shocked. He told Sarah to go back to her room first. Sarah looked at me worriedly, but Mark said he was going to talk to me about ending our engagement, so she reluctantly left. "You were never this mean before. I originally planned to keep you around as long as you behaved. At least you could deal with my mom. She always liked when people had similar family backgrounds, and she was quite happy with you." Ha! I said sarcastically. He still wants to have it all. What? You still want me to be your mistress? Now that you're a threat to Sarah, it seems I can't keep you around. I didn't push her. She fell on purpose. Do you think I'll believe that? I interrupted him directly and coldly said, I agree to break up. There's no need to talk about it anymore. Now leave. I had wanted to end things peacefully, but they had to push me. I wasn't going to let this go easily. David arrived with lunch for me, standing at the door. I didn't know how long he had been there or if he had seen what happened. When I saw him, my heart skipped a beat. I thought he was so angry last night that he would never come back. He brought the lunchbox over and put it on the table. Eat. I obediently sat up and took a bite. Chicken soup. It tasted just like the one he used to make for me. I thought you'd never come to see me again. Suddenly, I felt really upset. The online attacks, facing endless insults, and just now, Mark breaking off the engagement, none of these had bothered me much, but at this moment, facing David, all the sadness and anger I had been holding in came out. Why are you crying? You're always strong with me, but you let others bully you without fighting back. The more someone comforts you when you cry, the worse it gets. I couldn't stop crying. Tears kept falling until he said, If you keep crying, I'll kiss you for every tear. I stopped crying immediately, staring blankly at him. He lifted his finger to wipe my tears. All right, eat your meal. I'll help you with this. But don't you hate me for how I treated you back then? Yes, I do. Then why help me? I haven't hurt you, so why should they? But if I help you, there's a condition. What? Get engaged to me. My mom recently wants to see me married. She always liked you and often talks about you over the years. Again with the mom likes me. Looks like your mom didn't know I once treated you badly. David arranged for me to be discharged. He arranged for another girl to go out first, dressed like me. As soon as she stepped out, she was surrounded by many reporters. Apparently, they were there for interviews. Luckily, this hospital is very private, so no one can easily get in. They were all waiting outside. I got into David's car safely and sat in the passenger seat. When we got back to David's place, they were still living in that same old apartment building. I was surprised. By now, anything David owned could easily buy a nice place. As we walked up the stairs, he explained to me, My mom is used to living here. She won't move even if we bought a new house. She knows the neighbors around here well. Moving to a big house would make her feel alone, so I just let her be. Her happiness is the most important thing. Auntie, how has she been all these years? David's mother had once worked many jobs to support him, and she got heart disease from working too hard. After a heart transplant, she was much better, just needing regular checkups. When David's mother saw me, she smiled warmly and held my hand. Lisa, finally you came to see me. It's my fault. I should have come earlier. David didn't tell me you were back. David just smiled without saying anything, but his smile didn't look happy. I believe if his mother wasn't there, he would definitely make fun of me again. He wouldn't dare tell me, since I once told him to stay away from me. David's mother said they were out of soy sauce and sent David to buy a bottle. Once he left, she held my hand tightly. Lisa, David has suffered a lot these years, but he never says a word. He never forgot you, but he never talked about it. When he heard you were getting engaged to that Mark, he was drunk for several days calling your name. One time, I accidentally threw away an old wallet. He dug through the whole trash to find it. When he found it, he took out a photo inside and smiled. That's when I realized he never forgot you. You were born into a rich family. Our David had a tough life, stuck with a mom like me who couldn't help him with anything and needed his care. Now that he's finally done well for himself, give him a chance. Auntie, don't say that. He really is great. I don't deserve him. If you two can talk things out, it's better. I can't stand to see him living like a zombie again. We will. That evening, David drank a little too much. David's mother said her heart was bothering her and went to bed early, asking me to take care of David. I helped him to his room and wiped his face. This house only has 2 rooms, and it wasn't my first time staying here. Back in the day, not long after we got together, I had a big fight with my family. My father made him feel ashamed. saying he was just a driver and had no right to be with me, that even his job was given to him by me and he couldn't make me happy. My father said he was only with me for my money, thinking that just because he saved me, he thought he was better than others. In anger, I dragged him to his home. I slept in his room, and he told David's mother that I had a fight with my family and needed a place to stay. He slept on the couch. I joked about running away to get married when he took me home. He always blushed and couldn't look at me, saying, "Lisa, I want to marry you properly. That day will come." After that, he was fired from my family's employment. To pay for his mom's medical bills, he worked many jobs a day. While I stayed at his place, he tried to buy the best food for me. I saw him getting more tired and thinner every day. I learned from others that my father had blocked all his job opportunities. With his education, it shouldn't have been that hard to find work. The jobs he got were just hard labor at construction sites or serving at a club. But he never complained, and I couldn't bring myself to break up with him. "Lisa, Lisa," David called out, grabbing my wrist. "I'm here." He opened his eyes, looking at me with drunken, deep, passionate, and loving eyes. For the first time since we had met again, he looked at me like that. Soon, his eyes filled with tears, and he pulled me into his arms. "It's really you. I must be dreaming again." I felt warm tears on my neck. "Why did you break up with me back then?" "Because you were poor. Money is important. You can't live on love alone. The saying love conquers all isn't true in real life." Back then, David's mother's heart condition got worse, and she needed a heart transplant urgently. David's mother didn't want David to worry, so she asked me to keep it a secret. The company was also in financial trouble, and my father insisted we break up so I could marry someone who could help our business. This way, we could keep the investors who were threatening to leave. The company was my late mother's legacy, and I had to protect it. I finally agreed, but I gave my father two conditions: find a suitable heart for David's mother and pay for her treatment, and never interfere with David's career again. My father agreed, and on the day a suitable heart was found, I coldly told David we were through. It was the quickest way to end things completely, even if it would break both our hearts. "I have money now. You're not leaving, right?" "I'm not leaving." Seeing him again, I realized that saying I had moved on was just a lie I told myself. Only when I'm with him do I feel alive, my heart beating fast. He lifted his head and gently kissed my face. "Don't cry." I hadn't noticed the tears running down my face. He whispered in my ear, "If this is a dream, let me sleep a little longer." I was in the news again. This time it was Lisa with the new tech millionaire David. The pictures showed me getting into David's car. David had come back to the country but kept his identity a secret, with rumors saying he was an old chairman in his 50s or 60s. They said that after failing to get Mark, I had gone after an old man, calling me money hungry, a washed-up socialite, even worse than a gold digger. People had been saying for a while that Lisa's family had lost their wealth after her dad died. How could a woman run such a big company? She must be using her looks. The gossip was mean. Back when I was with Mark, we were in a group chat together. The people there made fun of me. What happened to her being so arrogant? Now she's no better than someone who sells people. Nick: "Don't pick an old man, Lisa. I'll help you out. Pick me." Michael: "Lisa, are you really that broke? If you need money, we can lend you some." Tom: "Miss, if things are that tough, I'll talk to Mark for you." Mark and Sarah: "Don't be too kind. Good people get taken advantage of." Their smugness was hard to take. Casually, I posted a video online and shared it in the group. It was the full video of Sarah first trying to provoke me and then faking a fall. I had bought it from someone who had filmed from far away that day. I posted it and also shared proof of my 3 years with Mark. On the day Mark announced Sarah was pregnant with his child at a charity event, he had messaged me, talking about our engagement plans for the next night. This proved that Sarah was the other woman. Those who had been insulting me suddenly turned on Sarah. Their anger and hatred were all directed at her. They started digging into her past, too. Ethan, who had been threatened by Mark before, shared what he found online in the group. "Sarah, is this true? I found out that when she first started dating Mark, she was already with a dancer. The reason she broke up with him wasn't because of Mark's mom. She was even paid by Mark's mom to keep quiet, not as a breakup fee, but to protect Mark's reputation. After leaving him, she married that dancer overseas. The dancer cheated on her with his partner, kicking her out. When Sarah found out she was pregnant, she planned to get back together with Mark. I didn't expect things to get so interesting. Sarah cried and told Mark not to believe it. Mark just left the group chat. She got really angry, cursing and calling me names. I watched as people in the group started making fun of Sarah again. I called her a clown and then immediately left the group. I couldn't stand being there for another second. As I went back to pack my things, planning to stay at David's mother's place for a few days, I saw Mark at my door, surrounded by cigarette butts. He hadn't shaved, and it was clear he hadn't slept all night. He looked completely worn out. When he saw me, he reached out to grab me and called my name with a smile. Lisa. Don't call me Lisa, I said with disgust. I didn't know Sarah was this kind of cheap woman. How can she compare to you? Let's not break off the engagement, okay? Actually, I've been thinking about you all this time and didn't even tell my mom we broke up. I had already told Mark's mom about our breakup over the phone. It was settled the night he told Sarah he would marry her. At first, Mark's mother had wanted us to stay together, but when Mark said at the charity event that Sarah was carrying his child, she knew there was no going back. I hadn't said anything earlier out of respect for a mother's feelings. Back when our families announced our engagement, it had helped my family out of a tough financial situation. So, we owed them a favor. I had planned to handle it quietly. After all, it was just a business arrangement. Neither of us loved each other. I thought we were even. But after everything that had happened, I couldn't hold back anymore. He grabbed my hand with a mix of regret and desperation. Lisa, did you never love me at all? Is that why you can leave so easily? You never loved me either. Even when you called my name, you were thinking of someone else. I was just a replacement for you. At least I tried to love you once. Don't act like you're the only one who is hurt here. I had thought about trying to love him when he fought for me that one time. His deep looks had moved me, even though I felt guilty. I figured since we were getting married, maybe I should try to love him. But even before I developed any real feelings, I saw Sarah's photo. Her side view from our first year of college, under the tree, and the words written on the back, "Forever love, Sarah." That's when I realized I was just a stand-in. No big complaints, just a feeling of relief. We both had our own unreturned loves. From then on, I didn't want to love him. I just did what our marriage needed. He teared up with sadness, his voice shaking. I regret it now. You know, when Sarah's problems came out, my first thought was relief. Finally, it was over with her. Over these 3 years, I've unconsciously started to care for you. I felt sorry for her more and wanted to make it up to her. I held my stomach, feeling like I was going to throw up from disgust. His shock was clear. What's going on? Seeing his expression, I knew he misunderstood. I was just disgusted by his words, but I didn't care to explain. I gently rubbed my stomach, teasing him. My child doesn't need a dad just for a name. His face turned dark, his eyes red. Whose? I calmly smiled. My first love. I don't believe you. You're lying, right? Who has time to lie to you? You're just looking for trouble. David walked up, put his arm around my waist, and pushed Mark away. What are you doing here? Mom was worried you couldn't handle moving, so she sent me to help. Mark, Lisa, and I are getting married soon. We'll send you an invitation. Hope to see you there. Holding my waist, David moved Mark aside and walked inside. Mark stood there, looking heartbroken. Once inside, David dropped his hand, his expression turning cold. Mad? No, he was holding on to you. Why didn't you call me? If Mom hadn't been worried, you would have let him keep holding you. I didn't want you to come here and remember sad things. Your man isn't that weak. Who was the one crying in my arms that night? Lisa, you were the one crying louder. I glared at him angrily. When are we getting married? How come I didn't know? No proposal either. He immediately pulled a ring from his bag and knelt down. Lisa, after all these years, will you marry me? The ring looked small, not really my style. After a moment of silence, he said, "This is the ring I bought the day we broke up. I didn't get a chance to give it to you. You kind of beat me up instead." Looking at his somewhat sad expression, I asked, "You really don't hate me? You don't want to get back at me by being with me and then leaving me?" "Tisk, you figured out my plan." He smiled, but then turned serious. "Lisa, at first, I did hate you. Every night, I wondered why you messed with me, made me fall for you, and then left. Later, Mom got her heart transplant. The surgery and recovery cost exactly a lot of money. Once I calmed down, it all made sense. Over the years, I worked hard to become successful, to be good enough for you, to deserve another chance with you. But watching you move on, I thought about fighting for you. He didn't appreciate you, so I got this chance. I really want to marry you." His honest words brought tears to my eyes. I had wanted to wait until he was sober to explain everything. Unexpectedly, he already understood me. I reached out and took his ring. "I do. Why else would I have the proof and agreed to your engagement proposal, you idiot?" He couldn't wait and posted a picture of our hands together on social media. He also showed his face, proving he wasn't some old man. That night, Mark got completely drunk and called me again. He kept calling my name, begging me not to leave him, saying he knew he was wrong. David reached out and took my phone. "Please don't bother my wife again." Then he hung up and blocked Mark's number. Over the next few days, we were busy planning our wedding. On the day before our wedding, a friend we both knew, Tom, told me some news about Mark. Sarah had lost the baby. It was Mark who had pushed her down the stairs. She kept bothering Mark, saying he had promised to marry her, so she wouldn't leave him alone. But they didn't love each other anymore. Their arguments always got bad. One time, Mark got angry and pushed her out of frustration. She fell down the stairs, bleeding a lot. The baby was gone and she almost died. They had to remove her uterus so she could never have children again. Maybe because she lost the chance to become a mother and marry someone rich, Sarah decided to get revenge on Mark by telling the police they used drugs. The police caught Mark using drugs with some other people. Mark was taken for a drug test, which came back positive. He was really using drugs. Because of the large amount of drugs, both were arrested. David held me from behind, asking which wedding dress I liked. I said, "Don't tell me about him anymore. Come to my wedding in 3 days." I hung up and pointed to a satin dress. "This one. I don't want to hear about that loser anymore. I have my own happiness now."